This conference will now be recorded.
That every morning or whatever, it's one that's shooting out. We always see it because I was there and it's down the street. And I'm like, oh, it's great. Billy. I heard you name this one. I was shocked. Oh yeah, I expected you. See out of here. Anything come a little bit, but I got your test. Go to the You should have asked me. You're smoking. Smoking hot. I got, yeah. So, saw your shirt, and I know what it was. But for whatever reason, the pig on the top sent me right back to the National Lampoon's #2, whatever it was. Pig in the poke.
I'll tell you, I remember. I should have looked at the I left there and I was switching the other day.
I didn't know it was your turn either, man.
I think that's it.
Yeah, what do you call that, pinch hitter or something like that?
Yeah, pinch hitter. Yeah, that's good.
Well, maybe have a master or something. There you go, that's right. I know, I've got 2.
So Scotty was gonna write on it. Now.
Are we done? Yeah. What do you think tonight?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Z2 back.
Good.
Do we get everything we need?
Depends on the first 30 minutes.
Okay. Typically, yeah. You know, and I never know when the weeds are just gonna grow around one of them. What happened? Okay, have it done, kind of update afterward, yeah. I did. No. No, because during the summer.
Oh, we went bike riding yesterday, so yeah.
Right. But I have a limited number of shirts and I'm willing to wear them. Security guard. We just go over here. Anyway, so. There you go. So, I try to go color. Like I said. I had beans over here. So did we come over? We did what?
I don't know, if I don't say something, then go, yeah.
Did we what? I had a problem with that. I have no idea.
Okay, okay.
City manager, what?
That's fine, we're up, shoot off about, you know. We got a pen, we can make them shoot.
Do you want me to take mine?
Kevin, are we ready?
Are you ready? You're the only one that matters. It's all you.
We're close. You're right, that does. Yeah. Why, you have it your own life. If you don't read it, ask her. Y'all ready? All right, here we go. I call this regular session of the Lovington City Commission to order. Shannon, roll call.
Mayor Roberts,
Here.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Here.
Commissioner Gandy,
Here.
Commissioner Vogt,
Here.
Commissioner White.
If you'll join us in our invocation, Mr. Trio.
Scotty, lead us in prayer tonight.
Bow your heads and pray with me, please. I'm the pinch hitter. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this absolutely beautiful day. Lord God, we just thank you for the rain that you've given us. We just thank you for the many blessings that you've given this community. Lord God, we just pray that as this commission meets this evening, that you would lead and guide our decisions, that we would make decisions that would benefit our citizens and this community. Lord God, I just pray that as we prepare for another week of work, that you would bless us with more rain, that you would give us the heart to look out for those that are lost. Lord God, I just pray that you would give us the energy and the stamina to do the things that are right for this community. Lord God, we thank you for each one of our employees. We thank you for the police department. We thank you for the fire department. We thank you for the people in the back corners of the offices that never get mentioned. But Lord God, we thank you for each one of them and their hard work. Lord God, we give you all the glory and the praise. And we thank you for your son, Jesus Christ. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Can you do the flag?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, to see a symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
May be seated. Gotta get the specs to work.
Yeah, I'm working. I'm getting old here. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted. Second.
All right, motion second to approve it as submitted. Any changes, corrections, discussion? Hearing none. Shannon, roll call, vote, please.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogt,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy.
Yes. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for consideration of minutes of May 28th, 2024.
Okay, motion second for adoption of the minutes. Any further discussion, additions, corrections? Hearing none, Shannon, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
Commissioner Vogt,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts.
Yes. All right, got through that. Move us to our commissioner staff report. Ms. Shannon.
No, I don't think so. I'll have some discussion later on.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Ms. Gaspar.
Everything's going good. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Chief, let's turn it over to you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, the city manager, officers' activities for the date of April the 28th through May the 25th. Calls of service was 1,381. Alarm calls was 12. Crashes, we had 31. Traffic stops at 518. Citations, 275. Arrests were 36. There was 0 detox. Code enforcement was sick last week, but she still had 213 warning citations, 17 citations, and 204 code calls. After speaking last week about the Chaparral Park, the street department, which I think they're going to talk a little more on it, have painted parking spaces in some of the areas and placed some bumpers. So we're not quite finished with all that, but it's moving right along. Also, last week we had, our last meeting, we had a couple complaints of residents around Love and Madison. Had officers go into the area. Code enforcement went into the area, issued a whole bunch of warning citations. Vehicles were tagged. Additional, a search warrant was executed at one of the residences on North Love. CID Detective Grady was able to recover some stolen property. A stolen handgun was recovered from the owner of that residence. And another residence at Love and Madison, search warrant was done at that residence. 2 people was arrested. One of them had 7 outstanding felony warrants. Still working that area. And yeah, we'll just leave that as that. We got more stuff going on in that area. But that's all I have right now. Appreciate it.
All right, Commissioner Bolt.
Yes, I'd just like to ask Chief, I had a unhappy citizen call me last week discussing about vehicles, high speed, loud vehicles. I know we talked about it last commission meeting somewhat as far as addressing fines, raising fines. I know we talked to the judge, he was here doing that. And what are we doing as far as that? You know, I can tell them that, yeah, we're out there, we're trying. I understand we have a lot of area to cover with the police officers we have.
Right.
But what is your general, I guess what word am I looking for? Your operation and how you are doing that, going around the neighborhoods and stuff and that. And I don't want to give everybody a heads up on how you're doing stuff, but I don't want to let the people know that you are patrolling neighborhoods, you're out there looking for speeders, you're out there looking for loud vehicles, because I can tell the people as much as we're trying, but they're not hearing it, they're not seeing it.
It's somewhat difficult. You see it 2 or 3 months ago, it's probably had, in a month's time, we probably had 200 traffic stops, and now we're up to 500 traffic stops. We wasn't writing very many tickets at all, is minimal. Now we're up to almost 300 traffic citations in a month. The trajectory is moving up. Do we need to do more? Yes. Is there still speeders and loud buffers out there? Yes. I can hear them myself. We just got to kind of remind everybody that 3 officers on the street at one time on top of administration. And even though that we know, we're very well aware that we got these issues out there that we need to be addressed, And, we're just trying to get them.
Is there anything that you would recommend to the citizens to help you out?
If they see a speeder and they get a license plate, I would be more than willing to follow up with that person. We wouldn't be able to give him a ticket because we didn't witness it,
Right.
but I'd be more than happy to prevent him from having a crash later, running into somebody, running over a kid in the neighborhoods, and let him know that he's on notice.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Hey, Chief, so, being street legal with their mufflers, how do you go about doing that? Like some of these
Our
guys, like,
ordinance doesn't have a decibel level.
what say
It doesn't have a decibel
Okay, yes.
level. Even if we got a decibel meter, it's kind of to somebody's perception. You know, what's loud to me may not be loud to an 18-year-old kid.
But like street, like a vehicle that.
If it's
Like if
it's
they
got
cut off a
straight
county,
pipes or
yeah,
the old cherry bombs that we all, yeah, those are illegal.
and then, do you issue citations when you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
I wonder if you can impound some of the vehicles.
If they're unsafe, we can prove that they're unsafe.
I'm just saying to get their
Yeah.
attention. That's,
Oh, yeah. Reckless is the easiest one to do because then you can arrest them and then take their vehicle away. But gotta catch them.
For the commissioner's information, city manager is actually going to speak on the subject a little bit more depth here now. So we are trying to put together an effort where it will help in not just this area, but in several others. So, and Chief, I wanted to tell you, I talked to one of the citizens that came in at our last meeting, and they really appreciate the efforts in that area. And they did, one of the gentlemen that was here did request it, maybe target up to about 10 o'clock, dark to 10 or even later. He said there's a lot more of the activity that might lead to a few other possible contacts and information and whatever. So
Yeah.
he said that they are very happy that we are focused on that.
Yeah, I did talk to that homeowner personally at 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, we're very well aware of what you're doing. And the traffic is gonna stop one way or another.
Awesome.
I told them, they contacted that guy, you call me personally and I'll come out.
Thank you, Chief. Fire Chief.
So, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, right now the fire department has one position open. I've had Kevin reactivate the Indeed app for the fire and EMS position, and that was the end of last week that I had him activate that, and we've already got 4 applicants. 2 of them are certified fire and EMS, so that's gonna help. We've posted the outdoor warning siren, the reference guide for activation and testing on our Facebook page, and the city has posted it on their Facebook page as well. So the citizens are aware of the siren protocols for activation and when we will be testing them. I've also given this to Cassidy so that we can get it sent out in the water bill. It's one little sheet. It's not the whole thing. It's just one little sheet that discusses it and tells pretty much what's going on. I will also call the hospital and the senior care centers prior to the testing. And what we're trying to do is get everyone used to the test schedule because it will be the first Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m. And we're just trying to get everybody to understand that if you hear it on a Tuesday at 10 a.m., unless, it looks like it's going to storm, we will not do it. But otherwise, it is just the testing of the system. Our numbers for May, we had 249 EMS runs, 49 interfacility transfers, 77 cancel refusal DOA, 23 airport, 10 Tatum calls, and 18 fire calls. And I will speak on the proclamation when we get to that part in the action items, but other than that, I have nothing else. I'm almost done.
Commissioners. You're off the hook so far. Sounds good. We'll let them
So far.
get their eggs ready out there before we get to your part. Commissioner Bowe.
Yes, I'd like to thank commission, city staff, people of the audience for coming today. I very thankful to Commissioner Gandy for the past couple of meetings, putting out there our shop local, eat local, buy local. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. I recommend that everybody does that. And I just wanted to advertise Smoking on the Plaza this weekend. I was given a shirt, and I just want to admit that I can be bought. It's told as much brisket, ribs, and chicken I can eat. If I wear the shirt, I'm good. Right, Chuck?
Absolutely, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, and if you do make it to Smoking on the Plaza, I do ask if you're a participant, you come just to enjoy the festivities, do not park in front of the firehouse. Because your vehicle will be towed, am I correct? Yes, so, but hopefully everybody can come this weekend and have a good time, enjoy themselves. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Commissioner Trio.
I'm good.
All right. Commissioner White.
I'm good. Thanks for coming.
Commissioner Gandy.
Hey, so just to reemphasize, so how many people in the last 2 weeks bought something local? Raise your hand. Did you eat local? Did you shop bank local? Well, do more of it because those receipts are going down. No. So they could, if you don't, if you stop, it's going to go down. It will. It's the curve. It happens that way. It's summer. People go on vacations. It all goes down. So you have to eat twice as much ice cream, have twice as many sandwiches, buy a larger shirt because now it doesn't fit. So yes. So just to help Commissioner Bolt, because I've known him on wood for at least, how long was this? Like a 6-month sentence or something like a couple of years? Okay, no. Other than that, I had a question on the, because the state police is really wonderful about coming down and blitzing and stuff like that. I just didn't know if, if the sheriff's department or something like that could come in and help us do something like a blitz just to, and discourage the activities that we have going on, which means I'll probably get a ticket, but, so, but, that being said, I mean, it is what it is, but I just didn't know if we could form something between the two task force that would come in unexpectedly at whenever and kind of peruse the community and try to hamper some of this stuff on the chosen nights that seems to really ramp up. So.
Get the state police on the motorcycles.
I forgot to mention that I had the street department buy 4 of these. So we could put them up to Main and D. Then we're looking at these type of signs also for, at each end of the community.
So you mean I can't
Say
do
that
it?
Larger.
3 times
Longer.
fast.
Can you, on the weight limit, can you move an extra 1 in front? Yeah, like 110 ton?
0.1?
No, 110. That's what I need. That's what I need. And then we're good.
My kids are gonna be like, Mom, you can't drive down the
I
highway.
mean,
There's a weight limit.
Huh? It's only got 4. That's all you need,
They
right?
do that in the elevator. Let us get off so you can wait to go.
But, since we have a high Hispanic population, would it be helpful to have one in Spanish also?
Just get a picture of a
It would
semi
never
with
hurt.
a circle.
I mean,
Same on the road sign.
I mean,
One thing, it's a sign that's a certain shape that tells everybody everything internationally, but words, yeah.
yeah, it's close to, but yeah, it doesn't always work. Yeah, they got the new global thing and we're struggling with that. So, yeah. I just thought it might be something just
Good idea.
throw out there. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are you ready at this point?
I'm good for right now, thank you.
You're good for now? Okay, all right. City manager.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, members of the public, we are working on a way through our website for citizens to be able to anonymously alert us to a lot of quality of life and nuisance matters that have been mentioned here tonight. I'm going to get with Kevin. There is a system in place already. We just have to kind of modify it and then get the message out there to wait for citizens to contact us. So the mayor and I spoke about it. Thank you to Commissioner Bolt for pointing out that whenever we have a heavy rain, that the south side of the historic county courthouse across from the Lee Theater tends to gather a lot of water, which stands for days in there, unless we have one of our vac trucks remove it. It was his suggestion to install a permanent fix in the form of a storm drain, which could tie into the Main Street project, which is fast approaching that area. So we have spoken to David Roybal of Pettigrew and Associates, and he will be doing an engineering study for that. And I'm told it wouldn't be too expensive. Second, we are happy to announce that Mr. Manuel Sigala of the wastewater treatment plant was promoted to department director effective today. Robert Perez will continue to oversee both water and wastewater and serve as utilities director. 3 months ago, we learned that the governor had vetoed Lovington's request to reauthorize a 2012 waterline improvement capital outlay appropriation for $352,000. I'm happy to report that in only 3 months, we have been able to exhaust almost the entire amount of the funding, beating the deadline. So some of the items that we were funded were 33 new 2-inch water meters to more accurately record usage by our larger commercial customers. And that tends to lead to higher revenues as the older meters miss a lot of usage. Also, the partial funding of $144,000 water field engineering study by Pettigrew and Associates, which will address critical needs in our aging water infrastructure and allow us to apply for state and federal grants in this area. Some of those expenditures from this grant you will see in our expense report tonight. Also, we purchased 10 new fire hydrants in our continuing effort to get to 100% functionality with all our hydrants. Some of the other things were electrical work in our booster pump, backup generator, and many other items. So shout out to Christy Gassman and Robert Perez, who worked really hard on this effort to exhaust this grant in only 3 months. Fourth, we have had divers inspecting all of our water tanks this week. And namely, that is the 2 water storage tanks at Booster Station 1, which is down by Navajo, the 2 water storage tanks at Booster Station 2 in Chaparral Park, and they will inspect our 3 water towers around town. I'm going to play a video of what they took, and it had some interesting findings. So Kevin, can you play?
Okay, we're back on live recording. Mountain West Resources. We're here for the city of Lovington. This is Booster 1, Tank 1. That's your reset pipe. The T comes up in 2 directions. And I believe it's 24-inch pipe. It's almost completely dirty. The T itself is dirty. So this way. That's what we call a magnetic composition. I believe that's the second well state ground. We got about 14 feet of sand in here. I don't know if you can see all the way across. And then it tapers down that way. That's your outlet pipe. And I don't know how long that is, so I don't know how it's going to go there for record. We've got a couple windows in here. That was completely dirty. You can see the shadow. So anyway, we're gonna get out there, and we'll go.
So it turns out that Tank 1 in Booster Station 1, which is the first thing that the water hits after it comes from the chlorination station from our 19 water wells, it's a 26 or 28 foot tank. It had 14 feet of sand in it. Booster Tank 2 had 6 feet of sand. So basically, our first line of defense in water storage, we had 40% of our capacity for water was being taken up by sand. So the last time these guys checked these tanks was 2021. We're now going to do it on an annual basis. You can see that's the sand they've removed from booster tank 1. So that should help us this summer in terms of water capacity. Also, the water department developed a risk and resilience assessment and an emergency response plan, and that was turned into the state, something that had not been done since 2018. I'm going to then ask Mr. Joe Wallace for a quick update on the youth center. We've made some progress, and he's going to talk a little bit about that.
Good evening, Commissioners. I took over, this is starting my 3rd week there with the youth center. We've been working pretty diligently to try to meet our goal. Our goal is to be able to run a youth program, a summer program from July 1st to 31st. We have a little bit of obstacles to overcome. We have some general, like renovation. We've got, the gym is actually being re-insulated. They've been spraying. It's starting this evening. Hopefully we've got about a week out for that. They're gonna come in for lighting after that, replace the gym lighting for us. We've also got rekeying going on from Gary Littlejohn. He's come in, he's piece by piece, little at a time. But we're going to replace all the locks. We will have a master key to fit every lock on the facility for safety purposes. But we're going to key individual classrooms, storage rooms, things like that. We've also got the fencing program, the fencing project going in. They're going to fence around the back basketball courts outside. Reason being is we need a secure area for the kids to go out. They've got the posts up now, and within a week or so, we should have fencing and everything up. Wi-Fi service, phone service. I've been with LECO. We should have that back up pretty soon. General repairs, I've gotten with Troy Marquini. Just simple things, ceiling tiles, covers for lighting fixtures. There's some in the snack bar. There's some stools that are damaged. He's going to repair that for us. Broken windows. We have 2 broken windows on the north side of the building. Looks like someone had kicked them at the main entrance. PO has been submitted and approved. We're waiting for the company to get out there and repair them. Also, on the back basketball courts, we're going to resurface. We're going to resurface it with liquid asphalt, repaint our basketball markers on it. But other than that, we've got the computer labs coming along. IT Works is working with us, as well as Kirkmeyer. Kirkmeyer is going to come in and do the rewiring for us. IT Works is going to put the Wi-Fi hubs up, the upgraded Wi-Fi hubs up throughout the facility and get our servers up and going so we can install the computers. The only other major that we have with that is our security systems with D&D. They're going to install new cameras and new panels for our security alarm. The only pushback we have with that is they're under a lot of work right now. Projected time frame for that is looking like September to August. If they can squeeze us in earlier, they definitely will.
I would just add to the commission that, the committee that oversees the youth center, which consists of Joe, his assistant Jasmine, Paula Mathola from the Hobbs Boys and Girls Club, was recommended to us by the Maddox Foundation. Annette and myself have been meeting about once a week just to keep up with the progress. And one thing we talked about today is, initially we agreed upon charging a $200 fee for the month of July. And that's for all-day childcare, 2 meals, snacks, and activities. And we thought, $50 a week, $10 a day to take care of someone's child full-time is pretty reasonable. For whatever reason, there was some pushback from the community. So even though, because initially we had thought of a higher amount, because Ms. Mathola, who's got a lot of experience in this field, felt, the parents should have some skin in the game. There should be some commitment by the parents. But nevertheless, we decided today that we're going to drop that to $50 for the whole month.
Oh, no.
Well, we're not.
No.
Well,
That's,
I think,
professional daycare is twice what we're charging for Ella.
I know.
So that's just absurd to me. So, but that's just me.
yeah, but I have to agree with Commissioner Gandy because, I was told that today, and what upsets me is because, we've got to at least break even. We cannot provide free services and then the public come back and hammer us and say, why this, why that, when we're not even charged to at least get some sort of return on it.
Well, so the program is broken down into two sections. There's the summer program, which the Maddox Foundation funded separately. And then, as we're making repairs to the facility, we're going to transition to an after-school program. This will be a hopefully self-sustaining department in the future. However, it's been dormant for 4 or 5 years. The thought behind lowering the price is to get 100% enrollment. We're looking to fill 50 slots. We're not there yet. Just to get traction, to show the Maddox Foundation that we were able to do a summer program. And then once we establish ourselves and gain the public's trust and, they see that confidently that we do have a program, it's a good program, it's successful, what we have to offer. We're trying to fill the ranks right now because it's just a 1-month program and then we transition to the after school. But yes, it's not going to be that way forever. So I was a little surprised, but at the same time, we measured our enrollment to date and we need to do better on the enrollment. So we're going to get the story out there on other platforms as well because we want to show Maddox that we can do a summer program, but then we want to be successful going forward.
What is Hobbs Boys and Ghosts? What do they charge?
It's $175 a month.
175. And ain't nobody bitching over there.
I think the main thing that we came to is that, we have $35,000 for the Maddox Foundation to help cover the cost for summer. And going forward, we won't have that. So they're,
It's a one-time fund.
and
We are
we have it
funded.
again next summer.
We are funded for the summer program. So, and then, the other 315,000 of their grant was to get the facilities up to standard. And then after that, we're on our own.
Yeah. I just don't want to start something that we're going to end up failing, financially. I mean, eventually, right now, we've had 2 good GRT years and we're moving along pretty good. And all of a sudden, we're contributing to something that there's no turnaround on. And then, it's going to dry up our reserves. It may just take a little bit out of it, but you're still taking something out of it. And I just feel that we need to be more firm.
And I don't know if you've seen the general expectations of the community is why isn't the city providing a free program? The city should be paying for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just telling you.
Yeah, but here's my issue.
We're not socialism.
It costs me
Capitalism.
$5 in the morning, $5 in the afternoon, go buy a Coke and a candy bar, unless I go to the Dollar Tree or somewhere like that,
Yeah.
But it's $5 either way, so that's $10 a day for me to just have a Coke and a candy bar. Just my habit, okay? I didn't say Coke, I said a Coke. So, it's, and you see children walking through the neighborhoods and different things like that.
Right.
And the amount of money they carry is more money than I carried my entire senior year. So I struggle with the deal where the parents saying that this is a struggle
It's
for
more
them.
than $10 a day from the house. I know
Yeah,
what my
I know.
kids cost me every day.
So,
And
I just,
we want to have them to have some skin in the game and commit, and not just have it free.
well, that's what happened to our swimming pool, we gave it away at $2 a day for so long and, that was unappreciated and not respected as a part of the community. So then we had, a group of children or individuals, I won't say children, a group of individuals that had no care or concern, so they damaged the vehicle, which cost us, so there was no concern or care. So, it's, I really struggle with it.
I do.
Really struggle.
I see your point. Okay. Thank you, sir.
But there's one other thing I'd like to bring up. Under workplace violence, have you guys gone over that with the chief? In case you have an intruder, make sure that we do some sort of training.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you've already implemented it or not, but just
Well,
something.
like Joe said, we have a secure camera system going in August or September. What we're also going to do is, we get a lot of foot and vehicular traffic in the front parking lot. So we're fencing in the south and east side of the front parking lot, and that'll eliminate that too. But you can work with the chief on that as well.
Yes, sir. I've also got my office set to where I have a clear visual of our main entrance. Once we start running our summer program, doors will remain locked, and I'll be able to see people coming in and out.
Do you have a sign in and sign out program for that?
Yes, we have signed.
We will, sir. Thank you. And then finally, as Chief Clark mentioned, I was gonna have Jason and Bernardo kind of give us an update on some of the vandalism that's been taking place in Chaparral Park and what we've kind of done to help try to address some of it.
Best time to get a call, ain't it?
Commission, Mayor, Commissioners, Jason Boyson, Director of Parks Department. And sidekick. Bernardo, Director of the Street Department. Chief and us, we kind of collabed together of trying to make a parking lot out of the turnaround of Chaparral Park. I've noticed a lot of people are using it. A lot of people are using it. They're using the parking spots, and hopefully when the bumpers come in, the parking stoppers, they can stop doing donuts and speeding and stuff like that. Because we're getting a lot of kids, small kids, that are going out to the splash pad, and we don't do something, some kid's gonna get killed. So.
We know when the bumpers are gonna hit in, sir.
They should probably be in, I would say, week or 2 weeks. And then as soon as they come in, we'll start putting them in.
How tall are they?
They're 6 inches. There should be black reflective stoppers. And so what we have in mind is to do other stuff on there as well. Our objective is to eliminate as much space as we can. And we're thinking that with bumpers or parking spaces, that would kind of eliminate the whole area. Yes, sir. So they wouldn't be doing as they've been doing. And that's a start. As we see needed, we should be able to implement something else. You know, if that doesn't take care of it, then we'll take it another step. And hopefully another step. And like I said, we are working with Chief here and trying to put our heads together and come out with a good plan that would probably try to eliminate some of that.
Thank you.
One thing Bernardo mentioned, that from the bathrooms, from Jason's shop, all the way around to where the parking spots start, he's gonna make that all fire lane to where nobody could park over there. And then on the other side, where a lot of people park to feed the ducks, he's gonna make it all handicap. So everybody will be forced to park in a parking spot.
So you won't be able to park right up and by the wood posts.
Yes, there's 10 that's up against the post on the east side.
Yes, correct. And so we're gonna continue on to the right side with handicap, and we still gotta get concrete bumpers along by the lake, I would say. And then on the middle, there's gonna be reflective bumpers. And like I said, we will adjust as we see that we need to, and we'll try to implement something.
Jason, any other updates on the park in general in terms of the irrigation, the sprinklers, the watering, et cetera?
Over at MLK, I sent a couple guys over there. They tested all the sprinklers, they fixed what was broken, all the brown spots are getting soaked. Now they replaced probably 5, 6-ish sprinkler heads over there. So, it should be nice and green for June, 10th. Over at Birch, they're doing the same thing, testing the sprinklers, replacing broken sprinkler heads. We needed, I talked to them about getting a routine going there. So, with the summer hands this year, which are doing a very good job, it's easier on us to get a routine going that we haven't had before. Over at Chaparral Park, we've done over 30 plus sprinkler heads and maintenance over 20 irrigation boxes. Every box has a valve, so it's very time consuming and, but 20 is what we got done so far. As far as the splash pad, there was a high level alert that was flooding the splash pad area, so I called Master Plumbers out there. Unfortunately, no help on that one. So me and Harmeyer put our brains together and we put in a 4th float. So that way both pumps are running, brings down the floodiness in the splash pad. When Master Plumbers put in the lift station to that thing, we started out with 12, we dropped down to 8 features, and then it dropped down to 4. So then that's when Harmeyer put in the 4th float. Now we're back up to about 11. So we're still kind of tweaking on the system, but I feel that right now it'll get us through 4th of July, and then we can just keep going from there. And that's about what I got right now. So.
Jason, you said you completed 20 at Chaparral Park. How many total, 20 stations? How many total stations are there?
There are about 167.
Okay. Do you have to go through all of them though?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Each station is 1 valve. After the valve, it could be 5 sprinkler heads to 6 sprinkler heads. So it's a lot of land and a lot of pipe.
We appreciate that.
I think also, Jason, maybe you ought to consider planning for future irrigation and means of desert landscaping out there. I mean, big sections that possibly are not even being used right now. They're just, you go out there and we're probably using maybe 15% of the property out there, if anything. Maybe we need to invest in desert landscaping. That way we're not having to water so much. And maybe that'll be, I think that's what we need to start with, because it's just not raining no more like it used to.
Yeah.
And we're just getting drier and drier. I think if we're going to do any type of water conservation effort, I think the city also needs to think about that out the park and do some desert landscape.
Even like concrete pads with a table and umbrella.
Yeah.
Well, when I started looking at Chaparral Park, I noticed that there's no sidewalks.
Yeah.
So if people are in wheelchairs or stuff like that, they really don't have access to the park other than the walking trail. So as we go with projects with Chaparral Park, we're going to need to update the sidewalks and stuff like that. So along the sidewalks, we could do something like a desert landscape, like you said, with some small rocks and, a desert.
Because you're fighting the battle. I'm just saying that, and we're fighting the complaints. So we're looking for you to bring up answers to or solutions to the problem. And I think about it too regularly. So I figured maybe we just need to invest in desert landscape, in that way it would help the effort of keeping a lot area green in the areas that we don't utilize, just make a desert landscape.
And I thought about trying to get a irrigation specialist. That's all he's going to do is work on sprinklers. So, as we move forward, hopefully we can get one of those. So.
Commissioner? So maybe at some point, because I know we have such a large park and we have multiple issues and we all have different concerns of how we think the park should be and where we want to spend our money at. Cause like me, I'm not even thinking about the sprinklers. I'm thinking about the old wooden telephone poles that were up around it was a fence trying to keep vehicles from going closer to the lake and different things like that. So we all have different, I guess, agendas or whatever you want to call it there. I just wonder if maybe you could come up with a plan that critiqued, you know, this is probably more severe than this is, and how we attack these situations, you know, for whether it be the children and the adults, you know, they're concerned as far as grass. And I know we put some chips down and different things like that around the swings. So I just don't know if we maybe need to come up with some type of plan that we all can agree on or vote on, or something that gives us we're moving in this direction, and, you know, then somebody else screaming up and go, oh, we need to jump over here and change our mind again. But, you know, just something like that, because that is a lot of facility to maintain and keep up with. So, and there's several of them. So if we just come up with a plan, because there's, like I said, there's, I didn't think about the Birds Park here, this, 7th Street Park, Avenue B Park, and all the different parks that we have. That was nice information to have, so thank you.
I think along with that plan, if we can have target dates on it, instead of just discussing the same thing every time, and when you include that in part, say 6 months we'll have this done, and after that, 3 months later, we'll have this other project done. That way, we know how to pass that on to the community.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That's all I have. I'm happy to send any questions.
Question? All right, well, hearing none. Ms. Miranda, though, I would like to take this time on the youth program at the youth center. First of all, I would like to commend you because you initiated a program that's not been in existence for several years. And I just want you to know that what I know about programs is you've got to get one started before we can improve on it. So yes, there's a lot of challenges ahead of us, but the fact that we are moving in that direction, so you're not going to have all the answers up front. And I just want you to know that this is a needed situation, and continue working. The only question that I've even had is, have we sent out what programs we are looking to involve in that? And if where, then basically, take any possible way in announcing that. I had no information to pass on, so.
No, Joe has come up with a second flyer, which goes into detail more about the meals that are going to be served, the types of plans, things like that. We don't know if we're going to have the computers up and going. We have received them, but we have IT that has to be installed. So, this first month is going to be a work in progress. But to echo what everyone said here, Maddox was very clear about this. They're not funding this program in perpetuity, I think is the word.
Yeah.
They're giving us a leg up to fix up the building, get a summer program, and then we're on our own, and we're gonna make it as self-sustaining as we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I agree 100%, but thank you.
In addition, Congresswoman Fernandez Ledger reached out a few days ago, within the past week, sorry, it's been a whirlwind, but asked about the food programs. And so the way it was inquired, I'm assuming that either they want to help or whatever, so we might, at the time, I just told them that the schools were in charge of the meals, the summertime meals, and I gave them a contact, but we can reach out and let them know that you will also be doing that, and I would guess that they would be glad to include that in whatever plans they have.
Great, that'd be fantastic.
the last thing that I wanted to talk about was, and I know I put you on the spot the other day in bringing this up, but on this community involvement, I wanted to kind of give my vision, because as it is right now, we have a lot of situations that the community wants to see action on. And I asked the city manager, do we have a conduit where our citizens can get involved? And I'm going to use Miss Vigil because she's actually the one that kind of prompted me to move in this direction along with what's been happening in our meetings. Let's just say I see, and I'm just using a red Mustang, it's not anybody I know or anything like that, but if I see that car and hear that car several times, and I can, you said we have we have an email or whatever. Anyway, so I can send in and say, okay, haven't been able to get close enough to get a license plate, but maybe I can take a picture or whatever and say, this vehicle is rampant or is often seen exceeding the speed limit or non-reckless form of driving. These are avenues or conduits that we could have our citizens send in
Anonymously.
or not. I mean, maybe the key is we keep it anonymously.
Right.
And then the reason I don't necessarily want them anonymous because I don't want a red flag or a grievance situation to come up where I don't like the way Elaine does something in the morning. Okay, and so I don't want to be continually going, she needs to have a bigger house coat on or she doesn't like the way that I keep a trailer parked in my driveway or whatever. And that's the only form of communication that we have. But if we have citizens that are, everybody sees commonalities, and then we can move that into the appropriate department, maybe alert them that they've been seen doing this several times or whatever. And we're going to have a presentation here in a few minutes that this would apply to animals in all areas that we're talking about. And the community then would the biggest challenge that I see is we're going to have to dedicate someone to responding to these, culminating them,
Funnel into the right department.
separating them out, and then getting to the right
Because
department.
80 or 90% are going to be probably one of four departments: code enforcement, animal control, police, or utilities.
Right.
And then I'm thinking maybe Cassidy might be able to, or someone send it to the chief, or to Laura Guerra, or to Laura Brock, or to Ryan.
Right.
It's like the central clearinghouse.
Exactly. And then, again, it's not a red flag situation. We're not going to worry about guns and things like that people don't have or do have or whatever. It's just
Quality of life.
there you go, quality of life. Exactly. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of clarify that a little bit. We've had a discussion a couple times on this, and we want to let the public know that it is definitely on our radar. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Counselor. Oh, I'm sorry.
So with non-action.
Oh, well, I just got one more man, and he usually doesn't have a lot to bring forth.
No, I don't have anything new. Some comments on a couple of the items for this evening, but I'd be happy to stay in for any questions.
If you don't mind, maybe give an update, not tonight, but in one of the future meetings with our situation in the oil field and all of that. Yeah, it's been a while.
Gotcha.
All right. This does move us to our public comment. And if you have something you'd like to bring forth to the commission, please step to the podium, announce your name, tell us what you want us to know, and to 3 minutes or so, less if you're Commissioner Gandy, but I'm glad you're up there because I actually had something to ask you, so.
I'll keep it short and sweet. Lovington Main Street, Star. We have Smoking on Plaza this weekend. Friday and Saturday, we need barbecue judges, so anyone that wants to, fast for a few days, and then I'll feed you Saturday, real good. So we have our cookers coming in for the IBCA cook-off. We have 4 concerts this year, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. We have Adam Doliak and Southall on Friday, Grupo Macero and Los Tex Maniacs on Saturday night. We will have jumpers free for kids both Friday and Saturday. And then Saturday we have Chief is going to do a family fun water fight on the courthouse lawn. And we'll have the skating rink and the foam pit along with jumpers free for everyone. We have Central full of vendors, so y'all come out.
Awesome. Before you run up, so I was looking to see what I think in looking earlier this week, looked like the weather was going to be fairly pleasant for this, so hopefully not unbearably hot.
Don't talk about it.
Well, no, I mean, it's upper 90s and lower, upper 80s, lower 90s, so that's good.
I'm really hoping for that,
Okay.
because a little hotter this year than normal years.
Did you get a response to the water donation?
No, I have not.
Okay, if not, please by Wednesday or so.
Okay.
Because the agreement was she felt that she could get that donated.
Okay.
If not, then like I told you, I'll sponsor half and they'll sponsor the other half. So.
Appreciate that.
Okay,
Yes,
just
I'll
don't
let
let
you
me
know.
forget. So.
Okay,
All right.
try to remind each other.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do y'all have any questions on Smoking on Plaza or comments?
Looks like you're good.
Good with
Good luck.
this,
Yes.
trash, everything.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
For the choices. Anyone else? Seeing no one move, all right, we'll be moving along. Woohoo! All right, brings us to our non-action items. So, Ms. Brock, why don't you approach and introduce your guest?
Yes, Laura Brock, Animal Protection Services Director, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager. Good evening. Before we start the presentation, I do want to announce that at Fire Station 2 on June 20th, we are going to be doing a pox vaccine clinic. We partnered with a local nonprofit, Actions for Animals. They're paying for the vaccines, for part of the vaccines. It's going to be a $10 cost for your rabies, and then your core vaccine for the distemper parvo for the dogs, and the 1 HCP for the cats. So we hope to see everybody out. We are limited to 250 dogs and 100 cats. That's all the vaccines that we're able to purchase, but we're going to be doing that clinic. Everybody's been asking about it. We put a flyer out about it, and so hope to see everybody there. Actions for Animals, a bunch of volunteers are going to come and help us out that day with that clinic. So this evening, we have Lidie Vankovich is with the senior legislator with attorney with Best Friends Animal Society. I've been discussing and working with her on our animal ordinance. It is outdated, like a lot of things are, so we need to kind of reamp, especially with all the new animal laws that are going on, all the new practices, best practices, kind of bringing it up to this day and age. So she is going to lay the foundation for you tonight and take any questions that you have on what you're going to see coming up. I was trying to do the ordinance and get it to you, kind of a little peek of what we're doing, but she wanted to wait because we have a lot to work on, and thought it'd be best just to lay up the foundation tonight, and I'll turn it over to her.
Thank you so much, Laura and Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. I appreciate you allowing me to be here. I will try to be succinct because I know that some of the commissioners are timing me, so I will try to do my best. Somehow I think there might be a shock collar involved or something if I go too long. So again, I appreciate it. And as we were talking about getting the community involved, we want community supported sheltering. I mean, that's why it's everybody's business, you know, everybody lives in this community, they love animals, and, you know, things have changed. I mean, dogs have gone from the backyard, or from the barnyard to the backyard to the bedroom. And I seen the shelter today, you have wonderful animals there. There was a pug there that I was contemplating bringing for one of the commissioner's daughters, but I thought I might get into some trouble. So I tried not to do that. But, I mean, you have, you know, over 50 puppies were there. Wonderful, wonderful animals, and the staff was so incredibly dedicated. So, you know, people basically want community-supported sheltering, and if you start a Friends of group, a lot of people will donate for it. So that's something you want to think of, is having a nonprofit associated with your shelter so you can get some funding. And so these are old stats, but so last year, the save rate at the shelter was 61%. Coming no-kill means saving 90% or more of the animals that come in. Because 10% are probably, you know, either too sick to be saved or are too dangerous to be put out into the community. So if you save 90%, you are considered no-kill. In 2023, your dog save rate was 57%, cat save rate was 73%. So again, you know, you're pretty close really to getting to what's considered no kill. So I think with a little creative programming, you could indeed get there. And let's face it, cats are different than dogs. You know, domestic cats, there are some that are indoor only. There are free roaming cats, and they might be owned, they might be feral. But again, cats are incredibly different than dogs. So why community cat programs? What's the big deal? Well, taxpayers deserve a program that's animal friendly and cost effective, that reduces the burden and bureaucracy on animal control. And let's face it, we've been trying to catch and kill animals since the 70s, and it hasn't worked. You know, basically, we're still catching animals and killing animals. So we need something that targets, something that is proactive instead of reactive. And that's what these community cat programs are. And basically, they're common sense, cost-effective solutions for controlling free roaming cat populations by preventing additional births. And instead of trying to house, feed, and adopt or kill more cats, we're stopping the problem where it is, which does make sense. So Roswell and Clovis basically just started community cat programs. Roswell started it basically in, I want to say it was September of 2023, and their save rate came up to 87% compared to December of 2022, where it was only 31%. We did a community survey of voters in Roswell about various things regarding animal control after this program started. We did the survey in February. So 67% supported the pilot CCP program. It started out as a pilot, and 74% supported making it permanent. And this was, when Roswell started their program, they were skeptical. They really, didn't want to do it, but they said, let's try it, let's try a pilot program. And they were shocked that it has been working so well. So that is good. And I think it could work well here because you have very innovative staff at animal control, people that are go-getters and really trying to make a difference. So the goals are to protect the human population from any preventable impacts from community cats and increase the number of vaccinated cats, stabilize and reduce the community cat population, provide health benefits to community cats for longer, healthier lives, reduce the straying community cats placed on municipal resources. Because again, it's a pain to pick up cats, take them in, house them, and then kill them, and then dispose of the body. Less cats equal less wildlife impacted. So the interesting thing is these programs are usually cheaper than catching the cats, holding them, and killing them. So again, you are going to probably see some cost savings. I was in Eunice earlier today, after I was able to meet with a few people here, and they are paying $85 a day for, to take cats into hops. So they're paying like over $300, around $300 per cat, that they take in. And they could, when I told them you could sterilize them and put them back out a lot cheaper, they were incredibly excited about it. So again, there is cost savings. The basics, basically, the cats don't have identifiable owners. They have to be healthy. They're sterilized by veterinary personnel, vaccinated for rabies. You can microchip them if you want. While sedated, their ears are tipped. So you know that if they have a tipped ear, that they have been sterilized and vaccinated, and they are returned to the location where they are found. And who can be involved? I mean, you can have your municipal shelter do it. You can empower, basically people in the audience, community members to do trap, neuter, return in their area. So again, you can basically contract with other nonprofits. So you can find a lot of ways to do these programs. And national support, the American Bar Association basically urged all local governments to implement trap, neuter, and return programs. And the National Animal Care and Control Association basically supports trap, neuter, and return programs because they think that, catching cats and killing them is a misuse of time and public funds and should be avoided. So what are the provisions? You can incorporate it through your ordinance. You can have a specific section, like the section in this slide for community cats, or you can do what Clovis and Roswell did and pass a resolution. That's probably the easiest thing to do. And conflict mitigation. So basically, we found in places where there's community cat programs, the nuisance complaints actually go down. But you can have basically tools to mitigate the conflicts, like things to lend your community. And Best Friends, when Clovis started their program, we got them a bunch of deterrents for their animal control to use and said, here, start loaning these out. And, this is how you use them. You have to problem solve. Where the cats are coming in, and you put up the sonar, so the cats will no longer come into that area. And it works well. And again, if you all pass a resolution, we'd be more than happy to get a bunch of deterrents and cat traps for you to start the program. So again, leash laws don't work for cats. I think you all know that. I have kitties and dogs. My dogs will walk well on a leash. My cats would probably try to kill me. So again, not a good thing. So, now.
Oh, sorry, did I say that? I'm sorry.
That could get you in other problems.
I'm sorry. I just couldn't resist. Also discretion. You gotta catch us first.
Yeah. Hey, there's all those ring cameras around now. So, we're going to dogs now. So this, a lot of your, animal control is doing a lot of this. But intake diversion, try to get the community to take care of the dogs instead of bringing them into the shelter. Finder to foster. You can have virtual stray homes where they call in the shelter or send in a picture and say, and they say, are you willing to hold that dog during the stray hold? And, so they'll hold it and again, get social media involved. Community-based sheltering practices. Tell the community what you need and they will help. And intake diversion transparency. Let folks know that you have 50 puppies now at the shelter that are wonderful. You have Karen Terriers and pugs and, Great Pyrenees. I mean, that's something that you want the folks to know, that there's wonderful dogs available for adoption and providing alternative outcomes and resources. But we want to empower people. Try to get them to solve their own problems. Try to get them to be responsible. There are some places that for the irresponsible owners or reckless owners, they have enacted reckless owner ordinances. Whereas if, they're recidivists, they make a dog mean, you have to take that dog, kill that dog. They get another dog, make it mean, you take that dog and kill that dog. There's reckless owner ordinances where they can't own a dog in that city again for X number of years if they've been declared a reckless owner. So that's something you might want to consider. And intake diversion is not turning animals in need away. It's not taking animals in only when it's convenient, and it's not sending animals to unsafe or negative outcomes. It's taking in the animals that need to, but as you were talking about other things, it's prioritizing the calls. You know, if a dog is biting someone, if a dog is acting aggressively, you send somebody out right away. If the dog is, you know, going to the bathroom in somebody's yard, that's a lesser priority. You know, so again, you try to prioritize the calls. And returning to the owner in the field, don't take them in. Again, a lot of your folks are doing this now, but it saves taxpayer dollars, and the community likes this. You know, just give them a warning. You know, try to help them keep their animal inside. In Fort Worth, Texas, now, you know, like they're trying to return more dogs in the field because they don't want to have to build more shelters. You know, it's better to take them back to the owner in the field than trying to build more shelters. And so, you know, what they do is they search the area for owners, talk to people, look for lost pet signs, post found signs, door hangers, social media. They put it on the lost and animal page. They put it on the municipal page. They'll put it on nextdoor.com. And evidently there's a Ring social media. So they'll put them there. And, you know, they call it in. You know, have there been any lost reports filed? Any prior calls in the area? This is applying community policing principles to animal control. And the dispatch and shelter staff assist in searching online. And this, so Dallas, this is what they do in Dallas, you know, they put where they find the dog, they put attached notices to 2 of the closest poles where the dog is found. And so, you know, they're even working on having printers in their trucks so they can have a picture of the dog on the flyer, which is actually pretty cool.
Fire or flyer?
Flyer.
Oh, I heard fire.
Sorry,
Fire.
no, the flyers. I'm not enunciating.
Sorry, I just.
I'm trying to go fast. I'm trying to go fast, so you don't get the fuck out for me. And again, social media, use it, Facebook page, nextdoor.com, Ring neighbors, and, you know, create a municipal lost pet page. But I think you all have that, or, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
ours isn't lost, but the area has one.
Okay, that's great. So, and innovative solutions, this is from Petco Love Lost. You can, you know, mention this to people or put the link on your website. A lot of shelters have it. But this uses AI to reunite animals for their pets. So basically you upload a picture of the dog and the face, and they'll like try to match it with, you know, other dogs that are lost. So it's really pretty cool. And, you know, basically a lot of animal controls are trying to stop the animals from getting out. So this is Cato Parish, Louisiana, and they performed their first field fence repair today. You know, so basically they found where the dog, they took the dog home, found where it went out, and they helped the person with the fence. You know, again, you know, because they thought it's cheaper to help fix the fence than to have the dog keep coming back. So, you know, again, and people love this. You know, when you put this on social media, they love this stuff. So again, it creates a lot of community support. And again, conducting return to owner of the field. Basically, you give them informational materials. You might give them a fixed ticket, so they fix the animal instead of getting it sterilized. And, you know, you try to solve the problem. I mean, that's what you all are about, is problem solving. So, you know, when they surrender an animal, they need an appointment. You know, they just can't, unless they're maybe getting evicted. You know, they basically should, you know, if they want to get rid of their animal, they should make an appointment, because you only have so much space. I mean, going out to the shelter, I don't know when the last time y'all were out at the shelter, but it's crowded out there with wonderful, wonderful adoptable dogs. And so again, you know, this creates a positive outcome, you know, utilize staff more efficiently, you know, and reduce the overall intake. So community engagement is so important. Try pet food banks, behavioral assistance if you can. Basically, Laura's sending one of her folks up to a free behavioral seminar we're doing this week. Targeted spay-neuter funding, pet-friendly housing options. A lot of cities, well, I shouldn't say a lot of cities, but cities are starting to realize that if a home builder is building a complex and they get money from the city to do this, like TIF funds or from some sort of trust fund, they are requiring that the person who gets the money from the city has to allow one dog or a couple cats in the building. So, because housing is the number one reason why dogs are relinquished to shelters. So it's something you might consider. And so that's it. I was quick. Questions? Any questions?
The only thing, if you could go back several slides.
Sure.
For, in this area, it was just, it's me and my twisted mind.
Okay.
We're going to keep a couple more. Going on. We're getting really close. It's the one where they, yeah, so it says return owner.
Return to owner in the field.
In the field. When I first saw that, I thought, return the dog to the oil field. That's what I read. So, because it happens.
I forgot the main industry here, sorry.
It happens
sorry.
here a lot. That people take your pet out.
No,
leave it in the field.
abandonment is still against the law,
Yeah.
okay?
So, no, it happens.
Yeah.
So, it was the first thing. I was like, man, that's rough.
Yeah, and again, you know, like, and for the cats, for community cat programs, we don't mean sterilize them and just put them out, you know, anywhere. You take them back to where they're healthy, somebody's feeding them. You know, usually it's about 5 different households that's feeding them. So, so you don't just put them out willy-nilly, you take them back to where they
When you get that cat in, let's say, how long does it take for them to have it sterilized? Let's say if a cat owner, the cat got out of the house.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's gone. It comes back a few days later and that's my prized kitty cat and I was just gonna breed her. And now she's sterilized, so.
So what are the damages? I mean, basically.
I would say your cat got out, in the neighborhood, that's just the risk of.
That's right.
Exactly.
There's not a color on it.
Right, you know, there, you know, and again, you scan for a microchip before you sterilize. So this is for unowned cats, but, you know, you assume the risk. I mean, I'm senior legislative attorney, so I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm old. And I've been doing TNR since the 80s, and I've, you know, never had anybody come back and say, you sterilized our cat without it. It's like, I don't think they even notice sometimes.
Probably not.
You know, they might notice the ear tip.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they
I've seen
might
that, you
notice.
had that was saying about ear tips.
Yeah.
They're done.
Yeah, that's about it, yeah, so. So anything else? Okay. all right.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you, I appreciate
We
it.
appreciate you coming down here and helping educate us. I do have a question, since
Sure.
you are an attorney.
Uh-huh.
In the mean dog situation, or the owner
The
creating
reckless
mean
owner,
dogs
yeah.
or whatever, is it possible to get to the point where we kill the owner? Steps.
I'll
I had that
ask,
thought earlier today, but I didn't give it to myself.
I will ask Patrick to field that question.
It would solve the problem. And that was what you was like.
It would.
Solve the problem.
I
Okay.
defer to my colleague.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Brings us to our public hearing. Are you handling it, Shannon? Or
I can start.
Okay.
you can start, all right. 6:46.
So what is 60, is that dollars, 60,000 square feet, 60,000 miles?
It's a $60,000
For that sewer line on.
out to the hospital or behind the hospital to that mobile extension
It
of
goes to the
service.
curb, it doesn't go on the.
Right. It didn't have a dollar sign there. So that doesn't have it in the action item, so it was.
Okay.
This time we'll be opening up the public hearing for ordinance 605 that was duly advertised. And it's in regards to a project participation agreement with Lovington Economic Development Corporation in the city of Lovington for up to $60,000 to construct a sewer line approximately 340 feet along Deer Duff and Gum. So, anybody here from WBC?
I would just add to the commission that we got a quote from Ramirez and Sons, I believe it was at $58,000. of note to this location is it is within walking distance of the new Albertsons supermarket. So it would directly support economic development in the area by providing a place for the workers to live. On that note, I did speak to Albertsons last week. Things are on track for September, October opening. Right now, they're negotiating with the gas company about moving a gas line in that lot, so.
Does the public have any comment they'd like to make to that project?
Get her done.
Groundbreak.
How do you spell that?
Oh, it's or
It.
I guess that concludes the hearing. No,
I give it a minute,
give it a minute. Oh, okay.
just to make sure.
And I said Albertsons is opening in.
You did say
It's
that.
groundbreaking, sorry.
Okay, no.
So this is from what area to, I mean,
This is, you know where Mad Mex is on Gum?
yes.
Okay, so it's directly to the right of them. You'll see a track
Yeah,
going to
that's
the
where the
north.
baseball thing was in my mind. Empty
That's
lot.
where it would go up. And
But
it's
from there, it goes down.
it has to run from there to Main Street. It can't tie into, there's a line, I think over by the helipad or something. And I think Robert explained why there's gonna be some backflow or something at Crystal. But it has to tie into the Main Street sewer line.
So it has to go back to the north or the west then.
East.
East?
Southeast.
Deerden.
North.
Is
Yeah.
one by the.
Yeah, we'll go with
PR.
So it's gonna go east, back over by the new wheat shop and back down that way then.
basically Gum to Deerduff and to Main Street.
Okay. Oh, never mind.
Where the ER is.
Yeah, okay, I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Guess this concludes the hearing. Right. All right, brings us to our action items.
All right, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for ordinance 605. PPA for 60,000 sewer line at Gum and Deerdruff. I'm assuming that is $60,000.
Correct. Second.
Okay, motion and second for consideration of this ordinance. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Shannon, roll call.
Commissioner Bolt,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2024-035. Approve personal service agreement between the city of Lovington and Norley Hospital District Community Paramedicine Program.
Okay, motion taken for consideration of this resolution. Any further discussion? Skip, city manager? Patrick?
Well, I think there is an issue, a couple of issues. One is that I want to make sure everybody that we talked to a couple of weeks ago is still good with their part of the skip. You're still good. Our accounting department, we're still good with the reimbursement, all of that stuff. So made a few changes to it. I think the red line version is pretty straightforward. We wanted to make sure that when we talked about patients, they were Norley patients. And so it's identified as such. We addressed the issue of if Norley is unhappy about one of our invoices or reimbursement, that there's some kind of resolution that just doesn't go on forever and they don't pay us. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. A couple of other little details in there. My understanding is that we've submitted this, pretty much this version with most of the substance in it that you have in front of you, out to both our current insurance provider and then I think another insurance provider that we were taking a look at. We got a response so far back from one. And so one of the things that was important is,
We did get a verbal response from Rob today that said we would be covered under their policy as well.
Okay, so I just wanted, I didn't know that, so that gives us a little bit different options as far as looking at whether we've got coverage or not. I think the first was was that self-insured, kind of gave us a written description about what they thought about it.
Right, it's in an email form.
Yeah, sent this off to Norley's counsel. I think he's out. We talked about some of the changes. I don't think there's anything that's going to surprise him. So I think we'd be good to go. Happy to answer any questions that you have about the changes, why they were made, or why some other changes weren't, or if you have any other considerations that we haven't talked about. I just want to make sure everybody understands what our obligation is, you know, the parrot issue. There's a number of other things that are in there. So happy to answer any question that I can for you.
Hearing none, okay, we beat this horse. All right.
Yes.
I'm sorry. All right. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none. Shannon, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner White? Yes. Mayor Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Bolt?
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy?
Yes. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2024-037, approval of RFP insurance broker for liability, property, and vehicle coverage, which I will amend shortly.
Second.
Okay. Motion and second for consideration of this resolution. Who's taking this?
You all should have one of these that kind of is an overall presentation of the different premiums, also a comparison of deductibles and limits that we prepared from the two, basically bids that we got for insurance renewal.
So basically, commissioners and mayor, we did have a sit down with Rob Golden of Golden Insurance, which does use travelers, in this case, for our coverage today. They did provide us with a schedule of premiums. In the breakdown they gave us today, of note, our property deductible would stay at $100,000 per building. However, now, with that breakdown, they came in, if you factor in liability, workers' comp, which we already have with self-insurers, they came in about 100 to 120,000 higher on their premiums as New Mexico Self-Insurers Fund. And since the focus of a lot of this, why are we doing this review, was the property insurance, I'm gonna kind of stay on that for a second. So our existing insurance company or broker did offer us the ability to go out and buy back, right, our deductible. So basically, we could take it from $100,000 of a building for wind and hail down to $25,000 deductible per building for wind and hail. It would tack on another $150,000 to our premiums. Okay, so we could do that. We have the option there, but then that takes the difference in the two premiums to $250,000. So it would be $25,000 per building. The alternate would be $2,500 per event. So it's.
And you're sure about that number? I mean,
we triple checked.
Okay, I mean, I believe you, because it's just.
Part of the reason.
Yes.
There's the part of the difference in the premium that is kind of glaring is, okay, New Mexico Self-Insurance is not for profit. And you said they take 10%, right? It's 10%, what do they call it on the commission, but it's basically. We are paying the price with travelers for our past claims. You know, they're gonna, in my understanding, I'm not saying I'm an expert, they're gonna get the money back from the claim by higher, premiums along the way. So they did not want to budge off that $100,000 deductible per building. So the buyback, the buy down of the premium had to be done through Lloyd's of London. It wasn't even through Travelers. So as you all know, myself and Shannon and Annette have worked really hard on this. None of us are insurance experts. We did talk to the city of Hobbs, who had kind of a similar experience to us, and got some guidance from them. So after talking
probably to Rob Golden at least a half a dozen times, and self-insurers fund almost that amount of time, we have kind of come up with a recommendation. If the commission's interested.
Lay it on us.
You know, it's our recommendation. We all, as we said with Rob today, we all inherited this situation, right? And it's to the credit of the commission at ordering this insurance review that we're in this position. But it would be our recommendation that we try out the New Mexico Self-Insurance Fund for a year. And we can do this again in a year with that much more knowledge. And I mean, it represents on the face of it a 25% savings to the city, $250,000. Because basically the premiums are about $1 million. We would continue to have the health and dental insurance with Rob Golden Insurance through United Healthcare. But I just think that the premiums are kind of being held at kind of a high level, and Travelers is a good company, but because of our past claims. But we did go down the menu of coverages. For instance, the law enforcement protection, law enforcement coverage is $2 million. So a lot of the types of coverage is apples to apples comparison. It's not like we're pricing different things, but you're right. The difference in the total premiums is kind of glaring. It's a lot of money.
Exposure alone is glaring to me because there's a lot of things that are possibles, but hailstorms are probables.
Right.
And it's not if, it's when. And we've already been through one, and we've still got to pull ourselves out of that hole, but we don't want to just immediately go into another one, so.
And if anything, we all learned from this process, and I think, as I said, we all kind of inherited it, but I think, you know, we should all be watching the store about looking for what's best for the city, but that also extends to whoever's our agent as well.
All right.
I'd like to also say that each year, let's be a little aggressive and hopefully getting more bids in, even though I think that's been our problem in the past. We always just receive one RFP. We went out for RFP and we always just got one bid, but that's up to the city manager to bring it to us. So we're not gonna go out there and try to find it ourselves. But, you know, we depend on the city manager to hustle some others bids in and see what's out there. And I just don't want us to get comfortable with one and then find out we end up with.
No, that's how inefficiencies kind of come in because, for instance, you know, we're going through this, we think that there's too many vehicles. You know, they have 133 vehicles. We don't have that many vehicles. So we got to go through it and nitpick it and that's another way to get our premiums down. Another example is the Edward Seawalt house over here on Love Street is valued at over $500,000. Which
Sell it. If you get somebody to offer it, sell it.
Well, and they did say there's some opportunities to do some actual cash value that we know that if something were to happen, we're never going to replace it versus replacement value.
And that's regardless of which broker we were to go with. But my question to the commission is, do we have to change this approval of RFP because?
He's gonna amend it.
Okay.
Approval of broker.
Yes.
And one thing, just Commissioner Trio to notice that it's really hard to get quotes from insurance companies because you have to name them as your company to get quotes. So the reason we were able to get these two, because one is New Mexico Insurance Fund, who is the broker. But if we go out to other agencies, you can't really get quotes from different agencies because they're all basically going to Travelers who's going to, and only one of them can quote us. So, you know.
Or you know, maybe just doing your homework on some of them, just not settling for whoever shows up at the door is what I'm saying, because I think that's what happened to us this last time. We just kept accepting the one bid we kept getting in all stuff. Nothing against them, I'm just saying, but when it came down to it, found ourselves in.
And in this case, both these entities were our existing carriers because we've had workers' comp with the New Mexico Self-Insurance for a while. So they were our existing insurance company, but we also had it with Rob Golden and Travelers, so they were our existing, so we could compare.
Amended.
All right.
What name of the company?
The New Mexico Self-Insurance Fund.
his name, I don't know the last word.
Yeah.
NMSIF.
Shannon, may I amend my previous motion to, Mr. Mayor, may I make a motion for resolution 2024-037, approval of RFP from New Mexico Self-Insures Fund for the insurance, the liability, property, and vehicle coverage.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Shannon?
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolt.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2024-052, drought proclamation, but it rained.
Just table it, huh?
Okay, I don't think we can actually do that one, Ben.
We have a motion and a second for consideration of the drought proclamation. Fire chief.
Okay. So I printed out the new map, the New Mexico Drought Monitor map, and it has not changed from the May 23rd map that I gave y'all. It's still exactly the same. We're still moderate. And I gave all of y'all a copy of the New Mexico statutes, chapter 60. And if you read in there, it says section 60-2C-8.1, extreme or severe drought conditions, restricted sales use. So technically by law, we are not in severe or extreme drought, we're in moderate. So my recommendation would be to vote it down. We don't put it in place. We put it on the board so that we can all look at it and have the option of whether we wanted to vote on it, but that is my recommendation at this time. And I would also ask that the 90-day burn ban for the burn permits that we put in be lifted as well. I mean, that was just what we had discussed. It wasn't actually voted on, but that's,
Isn't that at your discretion?
yes.
We don't
but
vote on that.
We did discuss it and we did all as a group decided the 90 days. So that's where I stand. By law, we're not covered to restrict anything because we're not in severe or extreme drought. We're still in moderate.
Right, let's burn it down.
Well, and I'm gonna be honest, what are we protecting by putting the drought in? We're protecting a few vacant lots in the city limits. Because the county puts in their restrictions out in the county, and that's our most dangerous part anyway. So whatever we do just covers city limits, it does not cover the county.
And we got rain, and usually if we get rain, we will.
And even when it's there, I'm gonna be honest, it's a matter of enforcement.
Yeah.
It's just like your speeders and your loud vehicles. You can only enforce so much.
You only got a fire truck so fast.
Any questions, Commissioner?
No, sir.
Hearing none. Shannon? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Yes, you want a drought proclamation or no, you don't?
Yeah.
You want to keep it?
Just making sure, clarifying.
Yeah, I want to.
Commissioner Bolt,
No.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
We're gonna have a good time. No.
Yes, we are.
Mayor Roberts,
No.
Wait, did you second guess yourself for a second
I
there?
knew you'd say no, so.
Or are you worried that I live down the street?
No, I just don't. I really kind of, if you want to know my true feelings on it is, if we had, yeah, we get it in this every year, and June is one of our higher moisture months. We always end up taking it back a little bit, and if we're gonna end up taking it back, why put it in place to begin with? So that's been so far the history that I've been endured, so. And it makes Mrs. Price back there a little happier and a little less grumpy during that month, so.
Well, and this was the last meeting that we could enact it anyways, because it has to be within the 20 days before the 4th of July. So,
I just worried about all the rooftops and all these trees that didn't get watered. Like if you go over here about a couple of blocks down to Miss Waite's old house, I mean, that whole place is a fire hazard. One aerial hit that whole
Insure
area.
it really well, and it'll burn.
Yeah.
like I said, I have to go with what law will back up for us and support us, and truthfully, we don't have any backing as of right now.
All right. Mr. Jamie.
All right, where are we? I've lost my track. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2024-053, Lodgers Tax Board appointment. Wait, he's got to
We
finish.
need the
You're gonna
list.
put it- Do you have the list?
Yes, I think I do. I mean, oh,
We have enough to fill all the spots.
we only have two to fill, right? Forever. Three
Three.
to fill, but we only have two that are current. Is that correct?
We have 3 positions for,
We need,
terms that are expiring. Callie Richards has resigned. Leslie Bolt, who would like to be considered for reappointment, and Betty Price would like to be considered for reappointment. That leaves 1 position. And Andrea Gonzalez spoke with Hope Moreno of Cornerstone Restaurant and Creamery, and she would like to be considered for that position.
So how are we placing them? Because there's restrictions on how they have to be. There has to be 2 in the lodging industry, 1 at large.
She's like a
2
tourist-related
tourism.
industry.
So Hope and Miss Betty
So
would be,
Hope And
Miss
yeah, we
Betty
kinda-
would be the tourism.
we've kind of debated about that, about who goes in what position. Betty could either be at large or tourist related.
And so where does that put Leslie?
Leslie could be tourist related or at large. They could swap. And it's just, I talked to the hospitality division of the state that kind of sets the guidelines here, and they said really that's kind of what it is, their guidelines. To,
It's in our
just to
ordinance,
be-
that's why I
just
wondered.
to be fair to the representation there. And so we considered Hope would be like tourist related as a restaurant and creamery they're on Main Street that would cater to tourists.
You have to say their 3 names, you have to say.
oh, I got that part down. Well, I'm gonna put them in where they gotta go.
No, you just have to say.
No.
their 3 names.
All right, Mr. Mayor, may I continue with my motion with the appointees being Hope Moreno, Leslie Bolt, and Betty Price.
Second.
Okay, have a motion and a second for those 3 appointments. Any further discussion?
No. It's not in a position of, yeah, whatever that is.
Okay, Shannon, roll call.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowe,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2024-054, lodgers tax request first fiscal year 25 first quarter.
Second.
Motion and second.
Huh? Yeah, okay, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, July 1st.
In 2012. right?
Ms. Price.
Yes. We decided to save some money, so we limited what we would give out this church. We, the chamber needs, we gave them $1,700 for the Fair Rodeo Parade advertisement, because they also get from the county. So kind of evened it out. To the museum, this is the first time they've asked for anything in over a year. We gave them everything they wanted, which was $5,890 for a concert. We gave Main Street $1,900 for the little concerts in the summertime, in the corners and stuff. And we gave the county $2,500 for advertising the Fair and Rodeo in a magazine and newspapers. So that was all I did. Yeah. We were pretty happy. Yeah, they wanted a lot more.
No.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right. Any further discussion? Questions? All right. I think if we just said, since it just says tax request, I think it's just, we take the recommendations of the board, the lodger's tax.
So I just amend my lodger's tax request fiscal year 25 first quarter per lodger's tax board recommendations.
I think that was, yes. All right. Have a motion and a second for that amendment. Hearing no further discussion, Shannon?
Commissioner Bolt,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2024-055, authorize the acceptance of funds from Carol Petrie? I thought, I wasn't for sure. Saw it spelled it. Foundation. Second.
We have a motion and a second for this resolution. Laura, is it you? I'm sorry, I was.
That's okay. Good evening. The Carol Petrie Foundation has granted $35,000 for veterinary care and transfer costs and $15,000 for part-time staff at the City of Lovington Animal Shelter. This would just accept the funding, so we can keep doing what we're doing.
All right, questions? Hearing none. Shannon?
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Bolt,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy.
Yes. Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2024-056, authorize acceptance of funds from Lee County for discretionary use in specific purposes.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. You're gonna stay there and.
Yes, good evening again. So Lee County has used some discretionary funds to give us to the animal shelter of $150,000 for funding for the operation, staffing, and equipping, and improving the City of Lovington Animal Shelter. So this is just accepting the funding so that we can keep improving things and moving forward. If you did notice, we do have a new fence out there too, so if you haven't seen it, make sure you drive by.
Or drive through.
No, it's new. Please don't drive through the new fence. I will cry.
I'm assuming we have Commissioner Weber to.
Yes, yes.
To thank for this.
Yes, Commissioner Weber did use the discretionary funding.
All right, thank you. Since it's discretionary, we can take trips. Oh, okay.
Well, you better take some animals with you.
Oh, there you go.
Actually, Carol Petrie wanted to fund that one also because there was a gas to get there.
Okay.
So Utah has a really great shelter up there. It's a
And it's
long
cooler.
drive, 2 days straight.
It's okay.
You have to stop and let dogs out.
So that's $185,000 you got for yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion? Shannon?
Commissioner Bolt,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner White.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for resolution 2024-057, authorize advertisement of ordinance 606, PPA and the LEDA funds for $500,000 towards infrastructure for affordable housing projects.
Okay. Motion second for consideration of this resolution. Who's taking it? City manager.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, this would merely be to advertise, as we've discussed previously, $500,000 for infrastructure in the forms of utilities improvements to go along with the $4.5 million, which I believe we received from the county on Friday for affordable housing incentives.
Questions, Commissioners? Hearing none. Shannon?
Commissioner Gandy,
Yes.
Commissioner Rowe,
Yes.
Mayor Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo.
Yes.
All right. Commissioner White.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Oh, okay. Yeah. A motion is aimed to look over and pay the bills.
Mayor and Commissioners, I would just mention that anywhere you see a description as grant SAP-22, that is the 2012 waterline grant that I mentioned previously. There's some big ticket items underneath that grant. So it adds up to about $342,000.
We did still have, to Scene and Electric, some work on the softball field lights that was provided by Maddox. So,
Who's working on
Oh, they were done.
Seeing
it? Seeing it, where they at? Where are they from?
On the water grant items, I've already submitted the paperwork to be reimbursed for those.
And I would just like to say thank you to Christy because she did a lot in the past couple of weeks to make sure all the money was obligated, that it was spent. And it's like a lot, so thank you, Christy.
If you think about it, we sat on that grant for 12 years. We got it executed in 3 months. And that's all thanks to finance and Christy and Robert and Ryan. It says a lot.
Robert did a lot, and he really worked hard with me to get this done.
So, thank you.
Hit the vendor 15041, Four Rivers.
That is for the equipment at the parks. They came and did the actual putting the mulch down and fixing that.
Would that come out of general fund?
I came out of the county electric.
Okay, is that on there? I did not see that on here as far as fund summary.
It's a 301, not 301, I'm sorry. Yeah. Let me find the. Right account that it's, coming out of. It's a 217 account. No, it's not. I'll have to find. Sorry, my head is full of stuff other than I think tonight. Yeah, it's a youth sports. I have to journal entry it because we don't have it's out of the youth fund account, which is 217, but the 101 is the youth sports. So 101, 1,000, 46030.
So is that the youth sports parks? I'm just trying to figure out, because the youth sports, I see payment amount for 52,000. The youth sports parks, I see 32,000, but I don't see the number that you have on there for that amount total. I was just curious on that.
Yeah, and then next year we'll have one number. It'll just be one in one account in 217 so that it's taken out of the right spot. Yeah, so the 35,000. That's the one that's out of the youth part. the 52,000, the one that's in the 1,000, that's CMN, that's anything that's not
Right.
county, correct, yeah. So the youth parks is the one that's,
But that's still not the right number.
it's, yeah, I'll have to see what they, if they obligated, some other part of that could have been for something else that they were doing, the 35,000 to Flow River, so I'll have to find that out to see.
Okay, if you let me know on that. And also you have vendor number 13958. Resource-wise, it just says supplies for 6,400.
Resource-wise is the consulting company that's been working on our water meter project. So that could have been something to do with the meters. Well, it definitely was something to do with meters.
Do you remember that one, Christie, by chance?
That was some, supplies that they were working on, but.
It was not related to a grant, right? It was
No,
just, it was just general
It wasn't
supplies.
related to a grant.
Yeah, it wasn't related to a grant, it was just related to, I remember us getting them to take the tax off on that one. Yeah, it was just general supplies to install meters, it wasn't meters themselves, but just like the supplies, extra.
So supply that we had to.
We did use resource-wise, just like $33,000.
Piping and different things that, yeah.
They are the vendor for our new meter stuff.
Okay, well, I was just questioning because it just said supplies, so supplies could be anything.
What page is that, sir?
It's on page 8.
8.
Kind of,
That's a lunch bar, dude.
yeah. So, and I think that the reason it says just supplies is because so much of it's been grant related, so it's had grants in there, so we wanted to make sure this one kind of stood out as not grant. It was not reimbursable, did not need to be turned in for reimbursement.
That's all I
right. Anyone else?
But I had a comment from
City manager work.
Any other questions?
Hearing none, looks like city manager doesn't have anything else. Shannon, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Bowe?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy?
Yes.
Mayor Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes.
With that, the items of the agenda are exhausted. We are adjourned.
Fireworks.
Do I?
You know what, that was on I understand what you said.
Oh, I knew that. Yeah. Sorry, I knew that.